Hello everyone, this is my anticipatory grief project response. I struggle with that word, so please bear with me. My accent. Anticipatory grief is the emotions a person experiences while expecting someone to die. For example, while caring for someone who is terminally ill. And my response to that first prompt was, anger that arises before the real loss is referred to anticipatory mourning. It is not the same as the typical survivor grieving that we have been talking about until now. A lot of deaths have some warnings, and in this warning, the person starts the grieving process and feels different emotions associated with the loss. There may be issues that are unique to the circumstances and that are needed for particular kinds of assistance. Even though a sudden loss of incredibility devastating, grieving for a long time can build to anger and guilt. The anguish of the dying patient, unfortunately, most of the time, feelings of denial that death is actually going to occur alternates with the realization that death is inevitable. Perhaps the most effective supportive grieving duty is a period of expectancy, especially if the person is dying from a degenerative illness that causes their condition to worsen. It becomes more real and inevitable that they will die when they watch them decline. When comforted with extremes of visual evidence, I have seen some people nonetheless hold on to hope and reinforce denial. When witnessing someone's decline due to progressive illness, you can't help but relate to the situation and feel a glimmer of hope that this could be your destiny. Furthermore, witnessing parents decline and deterioration makes me more aware that in the grand scheme of things, I am now rising through the generations, and it will pass away first, and I will pass away first. So what I took from that is that I understand that when you are experiencing somebody that is passing, it's kind of like it doesn't make it better and it doesn't make it worse, because it goes back to, if someone comes up to you and tells you that you're gonna die on a specific day, you're just kind of anticipating on it. And I don't know, I feel like that's kind of worse in a way, because you're just sitting there, you're thinking on it. And yeah, you do have the advantage of possibly healing and starting the process and understanding, but you also have that anger and guilt that starts setting in, as our author stated. For the second prompt, identify the signs of anticipatory grief and evaluate whether it can shorten the grieving process. Share your own experience with this type of grief. How do you console a person experiencing this type of grief? So some signs are overwhelming emotions such as sadness, anger, and loneliness, difficult sleeping, loss of appetite, difficult concentrating, being preoccupied and relaying different scenarios in your head, withdrawal from others, increasing concerns for the dying person, imagining or visualizing what the person's death will be like. In my opinion, grief before death gives you a chance to say goodbye that you don't have when a loved one dies suddenly. Still, grief before death doesn't replace or even shortens the period of grief that follows death, in my opinion. Some people find that grief going through anticipatory grieving makes it easier to deal with the loss gradually, even if it doesn't guarantee that you won't experience as much sorrow when the loss happens. You might have learned some coping mechanisms that make grieving easier for you. Conversely, Anticipatory grieving could cause some people to act in ways that shield them from suffering. For instance, someone might intentionally cause conflict or separation in the relationship in order to make the loss not hurt as much. Alternatively, they can feel strong negative feelings that could prevent them from completely savoring the final moments spent with a loved one. Gaining self-aware may assist you in managing anticipatory grieving so that you and your loved ones don't experience more harm. For anticipated grief, it was not helpful because it was helpful because it gave me and my family a chance to say goodbye to my mother. It was sudden because her heart disease was so aggressive, because it started with a stroke and then everything was fine, and then she ended up having a aggressive heart disease. So that was really hard, and after we knew she wasn't gonna make it and we knew there was no way out, we were just kind of waiting for her body to give out. She never wanted to be a vegetable, so we never put her through that. I'm still grateful I was able to say goodbye while she could still hear me and know I was there. I was really grateful that all the nurses let us, my whole entire family, come in and be in the room when they pulled her from the machines, because she had everything in her. She had a balloon. I don't even know some of these terms. Clearly that's not my expertise here, but she was going through, she had a lot of things that she was tied up to, and as soon as her organs started giving out, her and my father were separated, and we didn't know this, so that's when the doctors actually told us that they were separated, and my sister had to be the one that was basically the one that decided everything and signed everything that about her passing. So it was me and my sister's decision ultimately on when we were gonna pull the plug and things like that. And just as soon as her lungs and her liver and kidneys and everything just started kind of giving out, me and my sister knew that that was the day that we were going to end it all. It only took her a week to pass after multiple surgeries. She was resuscitated once on that Tuesday, I still remember, and yeah, she ended up passing away that Sunday. So during that week when she was in the hospital, we knew that, well, I kind of knew after she was resuscitated that there was no coming back from this. It wasn't like before when she had the stroke and she went to physical therapy and she got better. This was something different, and this was something that it was out of our control, and unfortunately we caught it too late. Our family did face guilt, and we blamed each other because we were just kind of like, why didn't you take her to the doctor? Excuse me. Why didn't anyone do anything more than what we ultimately didn't know, that there was something that was needed to be done. But anticipatory grief, in my opinion, it helped because it allowed us to say goodbye, but it didn't help because it was in the way of we're just waiting for, like I said, we were just kind of waiting for her body to give out. We were just kind of waiting, constantly asking the doctors, how is she doing? Like, what's her status? Is she doing better? Is she doing worse? And then they would come back and tell us, oh, she's doing worse. She's doing this. And all of the signs that were identified, I did face. I lost a extreme amount of weight throughout my mother's stay in the hospitals, and several hospitals from September to December. I lost a lot of weight. I was not eating at the hospitals. I was at the hospitals all day. I did become withdrawn. I did not sleep. This is around the time, towards the end is when I started turning to alcohol and things like that. But that was because I was kind of accepting that she was passing, and that was just my way of grieving with it. I did visualize what her death was going to be like as well. A lot. Even with her alive, I imagined how I should decorate her funeral and things like that. So I do agree with all the signs that were found and everything that was stated by our author, and that was just my personal perspective on it. And I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.